Hi, my name's Kara-Leah and this is my video blog. Actually, this is the second video blog I've done today. I recorded a 10-minute long blog talking about a theory of empowerment, which is a way of looking at emotions and being empowered. And it got eaten by YouTube. So, I'm back. I have 15 minutes, well not even 13 minutes before I need to go and pick up my son from childcare. And it's very difficult to just try and say what I've already said because that moment is gone. So I'm just going to accept that that moment is gone right now and just be here with you, which is what these video blogs have been about. So I do want to talk about a theory of empowerment though. That's the interesting thing. Okay, so maybe I'll just paraphrase. Keep it short because 10 minutes is probably too long for you anyway. We'll just start with one little key thing that I've been thinking about. Okay, so emotions are energy in motion, right? Let's just accept that that is true. Emotions are energy in motion, and that energy in motion has a sensation that accompanies it, and the different sensations define how we experience the emotion, whether it's joy or grief or anger or guilt, shame, regret, whatever. So that's what an emotion is. It's energy with a sensation, okay? So I've been contemplating lately, you've probably noticed the last few blogs that I've written or spoken have been looking at emotion and how we feel emotion or how we don't feel emotion. So in the last week I've been contemplating it, and I was driving up to Otaki on Monday. And I find driving is a really good time for meditation. So often when I drive I will meditate, which is merely the act of observing myself in action, observing any thoughts that arise and just continually coming back to my breath. So as I was in this meditative state, I started to contemplate or have ideas about emotion come up. So the little snippet that I'm going to give you today is how we mainly deal with emotion. So I've summarized it down into 3 key areas. So the first way that we deal with emotion, and I guess I'm mostly talking here about uncomfortable or painful emotion. So one way that we deal with uncomfortable or painful emotion, and this happens so fast that we're not even aware that we are reacting and doing this, but one way is to externalize it. So we feel something uncomfortable or painful and bang, we throw it out there. We get angry at someone, we get pissed off at someone, we rant and rave at someone, sometimes we'll hit something or even someone, and that's externalizing the uncomfortable feeling that we're having. So that's externalizing emotion. Another way that we will deal with emotion sometimes is we will feel something uncomfortable, and instead of the fight, which is the externalizing, we will flee. And when we flee, we will avoid or deny or push that emotion down. So the emotion is a sensation felt in the body, right? So when we flee it, we are leaving our body and literally going up into our mind. So that is when we're internalizing an emotion, we are going up into the mind. The third way that we relate to emotion is sometimes we will have an emotion and we will feel it and we will express it, but we will also wrap a story around that emotion, or we will label it as good and bad. So our mind will judge the emotion, and through that judgment the mind will decide whether it wants more of that emotion or less of it. And if the mind wants more of that emotion, that becomes clinging, which then generates addictive behavior, more chocolate cake, that type of thing. Opposite is to say we want less of that emotion. We don't want to experience that emotion, so we want to avoid that emotion. So then we start becoming afraid of experiencing that emotion, so then we're living in fear. So these are the 3 key ways that most of us interact or relate to or deal with our emotions. We will externalize them to get rid of the discomfort or pain. We will internalize and flee up into our head to get rid of the discomfort or pain. We will feel the emotion, but then we will also identify and judge what we're feeling and then determine whether we want more of that or less of that, and then that then dictates how we live our life, whether we're addictive in our living or whether we're living in fear. And often we're doing both at the same time. So that's all I'm going to give you today. It's just that first little bit, and maybe just to start to think or start to observe, start to notice that when you feel an emotion, what is your primary response? What do you do? Do you externalize it? Do you internalize it? Or do you create a judgment around it that then dictates your future behavior? Blessings.